Welcome to Issues and Society podcast, where we talk about everything that's happening in the society. Today, we are going to be treating what is actually happening in our society presently. We're going to be talking about this present government's performance so far. We're talking about the protest and all whatnot. And we have a very wonderful guest with us. We have Honorable Kafra Kaino. Welcome, sir.
Thank you
It's a
very
pleasure
much.
to have you on the show. He is a former local government chairman of Kajuru local government, Kaduna State. Did I pronounce that well, sir?
Yeah.
Yes. And he's APC's candidate for the House of Reps in the last 2023 election. So today he's going to be telling us what he thinks about what is going on in the country. Sir, there has been an ongoing protest for some days. It started on the 1st of August. The people are demanding good governance. Good governance. They are saying that this present government is not doing it. We are not saying what they are doing. They are saying that hunger has become so much. Things are expensive in the market. The poverty rate is at an all-time high right now. What do you have to say about that? But before we delve into that, sorry to cut you short, tell us about your time as local government chairman. You were a very controversial politician back then. We were always seeing you in the news. People were misconstruing and misunderstanding you. What was it like when you were the local government chairman, sir?
Well, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here with you to discuss current issues in the country. Well, like you rightly said, I contested the last election. I was the candidate for Chukunkajun constituency in Kaduna State. I think before then, serving my time in the local government was, yes, like you said, a bit controversial because of the insecurity challenges we had in the local government. And part of the reason for this was because at that time, people have not yet experienced, insecurity at its peak.
Okay.
It was still a new thing to people.
Yeah.
People were more conversant with the kidnapping issue. Talking about
Yeah.
kidnapping was what they knew then. And then there was the regular attacks where we go to sleep every day, and the next morning or in the night you hear that bandits who are now terrorists come into a certain community and kill a number of people, cause of numbers. Sometimes running close to 100 or over
Yes, it
100.
was really
Well,
bad then.
yes, it was, yeah. So, some of those things, people, the citizens, there are things they expect from you as a leader to
Yes.
hear from you.
Yes.
But being in the office, what you experience or what you know about that office is different from what people see out there.
Wow.
Being a leader, you have to be just, you have to be able to stand and speak. Your interest is how do I end this insecurity, not who do I favor. So these
Okay.
were some of the things we didn't understand. And I think to a very large extent, there were things that were happening at the middle, at the center of governance in the state that was also affecting the local government. Was talking about our traditional institution. That time we had issues. It was about to be balkanized. The government had to separate the chiefdom into two. It used to be one chiefdom
Yes.
that covers from Kachia to Kajuru,
Okay.
the Adara people. But then government had to come in and then break it into two. So these were challenges people had, and they weren't happy about the government at that time. And then these things also led to some of the controversies we had. And then I was trying to, there are things that's not within your purview, things that are not within your power. And then once it's outside your power, there's nothing you can do about it. The constitution gives the state government the power to create or dismantle any chiefdom. So, but the people who took the matter to court, which is still in court, but we have two chiefs now, and I think for now things are running how it should. We're okay. We're doing our best to see that whatever it is, we just want to see how we can develop the society and the community. So these are part of the things, the challenges we had every day. Talking about killings, people want you to come out and say, okay, so number of people were killed from this tribe or this religion. But as a leader, you only give figures of people that were killed. You can't say from this religion or this tribe or that tribe. That further, it adds fuel to the problem. It fuels the problem.
Yeah.
Imagine they say
They wanted you to be specific, to feel seen or
exactly,
heard.
yes, exactly, because for their own interest. But I think we are able to understand each other going forward. We've been able to understand each other, and we're working in harmony now to see what development we can bring to the community.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So this ongoing protest, what do you have to say? That do you think the people are blowing things out of proportion? Do you think they are within their rights some people were deployed to do a protest against the protest, which is very laughable because you're saying people should not protest and you're getting people to protest against a protest. I mean, it was like they are trying to shut up the masses from saying what they're actually feeling. What's your say on that?
Well, I think from both ends there was the matter wasn't handled how I would have handled the matter.
Okay.
You know, the protesters, it's within their rights, constitutional rights, to protest peacefully. Peacefully, it's within their rights. And I think from the planning stage, because I used to see, a kind of conference calls and then communication within the Twitter space and some other space planning this protest. And then I think the one of the things I think they tried to do was to ensure that it is a peaceful protest and that no violence was recorded. But then, in the stage of planning, you have to look at some indices, some factors that might work or work against the protest. Like what is obtainable in the south
Okay.
may not be obtainable in the north.
Yes.
What am I saying is number of uneducated people in the north is much, is plenty. So in the south, if you check the protest how it went, in the south they were able to coordinate themselves well, able to do what they did, and without any record of violence, except for some little places. But in the north, you see, it took a different turn.
Yes, yes.
That's because most of the population there is uneducated. This is the fact. People may like it, they may not like it, but this is the truth. Everybody knows already.
Yes,
So
yes.
you imagine when you let people, uneducated people, come out to protest. What do you tell them? If violence breaks out, how do you start stopping them? These are people that there's a lot of poverty in the north.
Yeah.
And then if there's any opportunity to loot, it's a good environment for them, it's a good opportunity for them. They will take advantage of that. So they came out to protest, but along the way, the protest took another turn. You can see from like Kaduna, from the first day, there was already looting. And some places, Kano too. From the first day, there was looting already. And then it was brought under control until after like Monday, they came out again to protest and it took entirely another different turn. So I think the protesters did well in their planning, but then government also warned and told them there were people that were willing to hijack. Even if it wasn't a planned event, but yes, when the protest gets to a level, thieves and looters will come in and try to take advantage of this. And this is what we saw. So from the other ends, not the protesters now, from some of the government quarters, not the federal government per se. I'm talking about some state governors. They were able to handle this matter well. Talk about Rivers. The governor came out, addressed the public. See, that was a good thing.
Yeah.
That was a good thing. Even in Kaduna State, the Emir of Zaria was able to address people in Zaria. So Zaria, from the first day, they came out in large numbers, but they were addressed by the Emir, and everybody went back. And Kaduna State, some part of Kaduna didn't join the protest, like the southern part of Kaduna didn't join the protest. Because there was a notice, a press release from the governing body who told them not to partake in the protest. So they didn't come out and join the protest. So I think if most of the governors had come out, speak to the people, and tell them, okay, we understand what you're going through. Just emphasize, just show a little empathy. We understand what is going on right now, and we're doing all we can. We wouldn't have gotten to this stage, to this extent, which we've witnessed. So, but these are some of the things. Some people didn't handle it well, and then the military did very, very well. I give it to them. Military didn't get involved. They were just supervising and ensuring that no violence happens. They did their best, and I give it to them. But then when you come to the police, Nigerian police, they tried in some places. You can see what state was it? Was it Edo? Where the commissioner of police came out, spoke to the people, and told them, "We are with you. We're here to protect you. But please, whatever it is, no violence." And then they went and conducted their affairs, their protests in a very same manner. But in some places, you find out that the police they just shoot tear gas among the protesters.
Yes, yes.
I don't want to talk about specific places because there are a lot of, but I think even some places, around here,
Yes, even in Abuja
people were
here.
just protesting in peace, and then tear gas started following. But it was a good thing that government gave them a space, confined them to a space to protest. What I would have done if I were in charge of affairs is after giving them these places, I'll find a way to infiltrate. Yes, because there was no single leadership for this protest. It was a general thing. People were tired in the country and people wanted to say something. They wanted a listening ear. They wanted someone to hear them out. It's not like the president didn't do or is not trying. The president is doing a lot. But how are we communicating this to the people? How are we communicating this to the people? And then the president is doing his best. Everybody tends to look at the president because of one policy or the other. But then the president has also rolled out a lot of policies that were able to, they are supposed to be like cushion the effect of all these things. But I don't know, maybe somewhere along the way, the implementers of the executors of these policies are not doing enough. You know,
So you're saying the president actually ruled out policies that are supposed to be beneficial
yes,
to the masses,
there are
but
policies.
it's not getting to us. We are not seeing the benefits
Yes,
and
they're
all of
supposed to
that.
serve as palliatives, cushion the effect of this
So
hardship.
why are those people that are supposed to execute? Why are they still in go? Why is it not taking care of them? This palliative thing, something similar happened. I think that was during the lockdown. Palliatives that were meant to be shared to people too were hijacked by some of these people in government, and nothing was done about people. There was an ultra, there was an opera, and all of that. But people they didn't do anything about it. I would say that if you are a good leader and you give an order to be followed, and people do not follow this order, there should be punishments for this, some sort of punishment for it.
Well, for this government, you can't entirely say they're not doing anything about such kind of acts. It's like, for example, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, who there was an allegation, she stepped aside for proper investigation. Until this moment, I don't think she has been reinstated into her office. So this government listens and takes action. You know, the thing is, when you talk about governance, there are three tiers of governance.
Mm-hmm.
The federal, states, the local government.
Yeah.
But besides that, that is the yes, three tiers.
Yeah.
And then besides that, we also have the executive, judiciary,
Judiciary.
and legislature.
Yeah.
Okay. All these groups have their, to a certain extent, independence.
Yes.
So say you give out palliative
Okay.
to the governors
Mm-hmm.
to give to their states.
Governors give
Some
it to
governors
the local governments.
don't
They don't even
usually
disburse
go
it.
ahead, disburse. That is the complaints we've been hearing. While some governors are doing more than, in fact, apart from what the state federal government is giving, they also add their own, palliatives to ensure that it reaches a good number of people.
Okay.
So, what I think is, if the president tries that through the governors and it's not getting the desired result, next is to change tactics, change the strategy. You can choose not to go through the governors, go directly through the local governments. Just like the autonomy is coming now, if it's a good thing that if it happens, it's going to be a very good way to reach the people, and you'll find out the economy is going to improve. There's going to be development across board in the entire nation. So I think it's about strategy. If it's not working through the governors, sometimes I think the center does this for political convenience.
Okay.
When you involve the governor, you're sure that when it's time for re-election, that governor would want to work for you because you did with him. But I think the situation in the country right now is such that calls for some kind of improvised strategy.
Okay.
Don't work on the normal conventional or the strategies we know. You have to start thinking about local solutions to the problem. I've always pined on that. I've always spoken on that. Nigeria has a kind of complex issues that IMF advices or IMF policies on solving these issues cannot necessarily work for us. During my time as the executive chairman of the local government, I had to, because of the kind of insecurity issues we had, I had to travel to Rwanda to understudy their crisis there, the security challenges they had in 1994, and then the genocide, and see how they were able to overcome that. And I think coming back, implementing some of the things I learned has really helped me. For example, in Kaju local government, we had Kaso Magani, which was a center for violence in the past, be it religious, be it communal, be it whatever, market issues, social violence. But we are able to, curtail this and then mitigate it to the very minimal. And right now, since I left the local government, before I left until this moment, we've not had any crisis in that domain. So we need to employ, how did you want to go about it? They had to look for local solutions to their problem. We have people that could solve this. Even the traditional institutions are capable of solving this problem. But how are we involving them in their affairs? Do you understand? How are we involving them in their affairs? To what extent are we giving them the authority or the opportunity to meddle in this? You can't just say, go ahead, solve this problem. You have to solve this problem and not support them with the required resources or tools to stop these things. So we don't want to import ideas and solutions from outside the country to come and solve our local problem. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that because there are some countries that are not even after the development of Nigeria. The development of Nigeria is a threat to them. So I think we have to look inwards, look for improvised solutions, look for local solutions to our own local problems. I think that's the way to go.
Okay, so you said something that this government listens and takes action. I know that if I speak for a lot of people, more than 80% of the masses will disagree with that. So can you just help us highlight one or two times that this present the government has actually listened to the cries of people and what actions they've taken? Let people know. Just help us highlight one or two things this government has done to actually help things life better for Nigerians. I mean, it's just it's like since the election, it has been going downwards. So what has this government done? What's one thing they've done to help the people of Nigeria?
When I say the government listens to the people, I'm not talking about entirely the entire government. Like I told you, there are three types of government.
No, okay. So, I'm talking
for
about
states. I can't talk about every government.
Federal. Can you talk about federal?
Like, for example, in Kaduna State, the governor has been able to cut what do you call it, cost of governance.
Okay.
New cards for members of state assembly, new cards for
are they implementing
even the governor himself.
Are they implementing not just social media rounds?
Yes. Even some of their what do you call it, allowances.
Okay.
They don't get it. They've sacrificed that for the general public to see how they can run the states. Kaduna State is indebted.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you come to now federal government, I would agree with you that most people will say, no, you are wrong on this. But that's their own perspective. I have on my own where I see these things coming from. When I say they listen, I'm trying to talk about some particular, sectors where government has done enough. They tried their best to see that they reach out to the people. But somewhere in the implementation of these policies, it doesn't get what do you call it, the expected results. I can talk about the student loan. It may not make sense to a lot of people, but this is particularly about students now. It's about students because not everybody will enjoy every policy.
Yes.
There are some policies that are particularly tailored to some people.
Okay.
So student loan. I went to school. I was an orphan. If I had this kind of opportunity, I would have graduated very, very well.
How easy
but I was spending most of my time out there looking for money to come and sponsor myself in school. This is an opportunity. It's as easy as anything. I've seen the link. I'm not a student. That's why I didn't apply. Maybe I would have applied, but I've seen the link. It's all over. You just need to Google. And then once you Google, you get this link. You apply and wait. But let me tell you one funny thing. When you roll out these things, can you believe that people that have access or that have resources to take care of their school fees are also applying for this loan? This is where we're getting it wrong. NMPC advertised for opportunities, vacancies.
Yeah.
And within 24 hours, I think they had about 20 million, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it's 20
so
or 2 million.
Something, I think it's around 2 million there.
2 million. Thank you. I know it has to do with the 2, but I don't know if there's a zero behind or not. So 2 million people apply. Go and make an investigation into those 2 million numbers. You'll find out that most of them are already working. Most of them are already working. I remember I was working with Airtel when they advertised for, I think it was immigration during Abba Moro when he was minister.
Okay.
That's a recruitment that a lot of people died.
Yes, yes.
I also applied, but I didn't go for the interview when I realized that there were lots of numbers of people that applied. I was working, but I applied. And that is the problem with Nigeria. Sometimes if you have something, everybody's just looking for a better life. So they want to live where they are and move to the next. If there's an opportunity, everybody rushes to this to take advantage of this opportunity. Student loan, most people that have access, they have the resources to sponsor their schools, are also applying for this loan. Why not leave it for people that are underprivileged? orphans, people that don't have anybody to assist them. Why don't they go apply for this? Leave it to them. But a lot of people apply because somebody applied and they said, okay, that's, I think she was waiting for, I think there's a money they pay to the school directly, and then there's one for your upkeep. She said she hasn't seen any money in her account. She was qualified though. She said, they haven't seen any money in her account. They said, no, we don't pay directly to you. That was the reply they gave her. That's how the technology has advanced in governance.
Yes, yes.
They reply you
Okay.
that the money doesn't go to you, it goes to your school directly, so that you don't misuse the
Mismanage
money,
it,
mismanage the money. But she was like, no, she has paid her school fees already. She replied that she has paid her school fees already. So they should refund her. They didn't reply her again. These are some of the things I'm telling you. These are some of the things I'm talking about. Yes, there are some things that government has done wrongly, but then, like, for example, I can't say wrongly per se, like the speech subsidy is gone. It was just a speech. But people ran,
Yes.
marketers ran
Yes,
to take
yes,
advantage of this. People that had fuel prior to that speech refused to sell and then jacked up the money.
I think that's just a Nigerian thing. It's
Exactly.
a Nigerian issue.
So when you want to talk about the presidency and all that, we should also be talking about ourselves. How well have we done?
Communication is important
Very, very
because
important.
if not that you're saying this now, how are we supposed to know? The masses are crying, and nobody from the federal, especially the federal government, is coming out to say, see what we are seeing. We've tried to do this, nothing is coming out. They're just keeping quiet. They're keeping mute. So it's looking like they don't even care about us. They don't care what's going on in our lives and all of that.
Exactly, I agree with you. So, like I said, the communication, the strategies which are used to reach out to the people is not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. We need to reach out to the people. People need to understand this. And it's not enough for them to just hear, but let them understand. When you speak to somebody and he hears you, he may not necessarily understand you. And then for every policy we set out, let's give it a timeline in which we expect this policy to be of impact to the life of a citizen, And besides the funds that I was talking about, the student fund, about the under the humanitarian affairs, what do you call it? I've forgotten this name, whereby they reach the underprivileged, the old people in the villages. They open an account for you. It started during Buhari's time when I was in office. I met a woman a day they came to distribute these funds, 5,000, and then sometimes when they go overboard and then they pass a time limit, then they add up the money and people get 10,000. The old and aged people. Mm-hmm. I've met a woman in the village. She came to my secretariat, and what she was given the microphone to give her testimony. It will shock you what she said. She said in her entire life, she has never held 500 naira. And I know a lot of Nigerians will say this is not true. But I can tell you because my community is one that has been, there are communities in my place that have never felt impact of governance until maybe sometimes back, some years back, when we came, but she has never held 500 naira until this government came onto those policies were rolled out. And that policy is still in place today. But I don't know who is managing it. We've had cases that we're talking about humanitarian ministers who took some billions. EFCC are still investigating. Mm-hmm. So you would agree with me, Nigerians will agree with me that yes, if that is true, what EFCC is investigating is true, then someone is mismanaging. And then I think the presidency also has to start, taking actions, sacking people, and hiring new skills, new people that would want to implement this best way they can.
Okay, wow. Still on governance, let's talk about the president's speech. Rumor has it that the president's speech was leaked before the broadcast. Do you think the president has rats in his cabinet? Do you think he has people that do not even want him to progress? Do you think he has people that are not after his good in his cabinet? Is that what you think happened? What do you suspect happened? How was it leaked before the broadcast?
I'll simply give you an answer with an illustration.
Okay.
During my time as the local government chairman,
yeah,
I was the first local government chairman in Kaduna State to have, because we operate the legislative kind of governance even in the local governments.
Okay.
So I was the first to present my budget before the legislative council.
Okay.
In doing that, I wrote a speech about my budget. And then this speech I wrote when I was about to go, for my presentation was when this speech was put on social media.
Mm.
While I was presenting it, it was on social media. And then it's very, very normal for any government to write a speech and then give it out to the general public.
Before
But
the
usually they
protest.
don't give before. It's
Okay.
always at the instance whereby this is about to be presented,
Yes.
or most times
After.
immediately after. Once the president finishes his speech, he releases this speech to the public. That is enough.
Okay.
But yes, I agree with you. Someone leaked this. Someone leaked this. So I don't know what the zeal is about. It might be the person might be overzealous, but I think the president should investigate this and take proper action about this. It's not right because this was what opened door for condemnation.
Yes,
about
because
the speech.
many people were saying that this government doesn't rate us at all. That how would you really a speech that was leaked before the broadcast? You still came. His media team didn't even try
Any
to
attempt
tweak.
to-
Yeah, they didn't make any attempt to do it like a damage control. He just came and he's reading it verbatim. I mean,
Well, I think also, I think the media team, the president's media team, I think he needs to bring in like fresh people that really understand what's going
for
on.
him to
People
take
that really can feel empathy for the people, you know. He really touched, he tried to tell you about things he's trying to do, which is not bad. But I think they really need to improve on empathy. Like, I'm not saying they're not, but they need to improve on that. People just wanted to understand that you feel what you feel.
people are tired of them making promises. And like you said, there are middle people that is making sure that this actions being taken by the government is not getting to the masses. So I think that's why he needs to start, sacking some people, start sacking some people so that and when you sack them, publish it. Let the media know that we are letting this person go, especially because this is what we wanted to do for you. But this person was serving as a hindrance, sort of, by not carrying out his responsibility. Let them know that you're taking actions because it's not looking like they don't care. I myself, I feel that way too, like they don't care. Now, the protesters have given a 10 days ultimatum that if the government doesn't do anything about their request, that it's going to go into a full-blown revolution. Are you scared? What do you think? Do you think the government should call their bluff? Do you think they're bluffing? What do you think? What do you have to say about the ultimatum that
I'm going to give you my opinion.
Okay.
I'm going to give you my opinion. And believe me, I think people should look in this direction. I was scared of this protest before it happened. I was scared before it happened.
No.
The moment the protest started, it was weak. Then it got serious.
Okay.
But at this moment, what I can say is the protesters should forget it.
Wow.
At this moment, they should forget this protest at this moment. As you can see, the protest has already taken a different dimension. Imagine going for peaceful protest. While it was peaceful in some places, there were some places that that these people were waiting to unleash violence. They were waiting to use this protest for whatever means.
So you're saying the government is going to use the violence in some areas as an excuse now?
No, what do you expect when protesters are coming and flying Russian flag? Do you know what it means? There's grave implications for that. It's a serious implication. Let me tell you, most of the people protesting, I understand. I'm in the middle. As a millennial, I'm in the middle.
Okay.
I've seen the bad side. I've seen wars in Nigeria, riots, crises. And for quite some time, I've experienced peace. And then when you look at other countries, how it has ended, I want to tell you, Nigeria is a very complex nation.
Yes.
It's a very complex nation. And if there's anything Nigerians should not get into or should not call upon this country, is war at this time. Civil unrest should never come. Because if it comes, there won't be recovery. I want to be serious about this. There won't be recovery. Already the country is polarized, be it religion, ethnicity, tribes. Once it gets to that level, you'll be very shocked. But there won't be recovery.
This Russian flag thing you talked about, it is supposed to have implications, but a typical Nigerian will tell you that if our own flag didn't mean anything to the government officials during the 2020 NSAS protest, why are they bothered about the Russian flag? During the 2020 NSAS protest, it was peaceful. In short, we're demanding for something and it was so peaceful and loving. Then it got to a point the police and the military came into the case, and you see Nigerians raising the Nigerian flag in a bid to let them know that we are your
I
people.
love that.
They shot at the Nigerian flag. There were pictures of blood stains on the Nigerian flag. So if the Nigerian flag didn't mean much to them, what would the Russian flag do to them?
I don't know about shooting at the Nigerian flag. I wasn't there. I was in Kaduna. So I can't.
There were video evidences. There were pictures.
So
people, this was all over social
I
media.
want to tell you that yes, the NSAS protest was a protest against police brutality.
Yes.
Which I also agree. I agree.
Yes.
Do you get?
Okay.
I agree. And then that brought about the disbandment of SARS.
The official disbandment, because those people are still operating.
No, but there's no SARS. Maybe just a new unit.
Okay.
But at least it showed you that they listen.
But police brutality is still happening till
But are we
today.
reporting it? Do you know one thing I give it to Nigerians, the young people? I think they have a way of resolving crisis right now in the country. Police brutality, when it happens, and a lot of people go to Twitter space, X,
Yes.
and then tweet about these things. I see police running to take care of that.
Okay.
I see police taking action.
Yeah.
I can mention a few in Nigeria.
Okay.
Police rush to take action. That is a medium. Let's continue exploring those kind of mediums till we get it right.
So what of the people that don't have access to Twitter? Because most times what these policemen do now is, because they know, like you said, sorry.
Yeah.
Because they know that people are going to tweet about it and get help, they immediately collect the phone first. So you don't have any form of communication.
Well, for most cases that I've been talking about, I think most of the people are not people that have access to Twitter. But someone who has access to Twitter sees these things happening, he records, put it up on social media. They still take action.
Okay.
You mustn't be the complainant directly. If there's anything, I think we're using our social media spaces very well in Nigeria. I give that to the youth. They're using it very well. And I like that. They're making government accountable. They're making institutions accountable. You know? So, look, do you know waving the Russian flag is a treasonable offense? It's a treasonable offense.
And I still ask, was shooting at the Nigerian flag not a treasonable offense?
Are we talking about NSAS now or protest?
Well, no, you spoke about, you brought up the Russian flag. And I'm saying that if the government, if the military people, the police could not respect the Nigerian flag, why do you think the masses should care about what raising the Russian flag means?
Let me tell you why the masses should care about raising the national flag, the Russian flag. Why are they protesting?
They're protesting against bad governance.
Bad governance. Why are they protesting bad governance? What do they want?
They want things to get better.
They want
the government to hear them and take actions.
No, let me make it easy for you. They want good governance.
They want good governance, basically.
Good governance for who?
For we, the Nigerians.
We, the Nigerians. I like that word. That's the word I was looking for. The Nigerians. That is why they should care about their flag. It doesn't matter whether a military.
I don't think I saw a picture, a video of where the Russian flag was raised.
Are you serious?
I did not.
At this moment?
I didn't see that.
Wow. Well,
I didn't see that.
Maybe after I will share a lot of videos with you.
Okay.
You see them where they were raised, especially in the north.
They were raised in the north?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So why is the north now in particular? They were raised in the north. Oh, wow. Why was it particular?
It's surprising because I didn't expect it from them. You know, we've been facing this, once there's violence and all that, it comes majorly from the southwest, southeast. So this, how do I put
violence
it? Violence
comes from the southwest, southeast. What about the banditry and terrorism?
During protests.
Is it not from the north?
No, I'm talking about the protest now. The violence and the looting or whatsoever in protest. So the blame has always gone to the southwest and southeast.
The looting always comes from the north, not from the.
So
violence from the
I didn't expect this treasonable offense to come from the north.
So when it gets to that level, clearly something is wrong. And then you're not talking about one person raising a flag. You're talking about multitude of people carrying flags, Russian flag. I already know what's going on in Africa. You're talking about Mali, Burkina Faso,
yes.
and
Mali,
Burkina Faso, and Niger.
Okay.
Whereby Russia, to an extent, has intervened, and then there's a coup, and military dictator are ruling over the people. And yes, the people are supporting what they are doing, you know, and it's understandable when there's a coup and people support coup, it's not right. But let's say, yes, it gets to a point that this has to be done. But Where in Nigeria there's a civilian democratically elected government who is on throne, on seat, and they're serving its tenure, and then there's a protest, you want to make Nigeria better. And then in the protest, you're carrying another nation's flag. And I will show you a video where someone was even saying, Putin, save us, Putin, save us.
Oh, wow.
I saw it on Twitter where some people were saluting, we're Nigerians. Putin, we want you to come and save us.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what you're
now
calling? Do you know what that means?
That is out of it.
That is what I'm saying. At this moment, the protest should be suspended. And then, but that is not just the end. I'm not just saying suspend it and government should care less. Government should sit down. At this moment, whatever has transpired in the past few days is supposed to be a wake-up call to the government. A wake-up call. We have a responsibility to Nigerians. We have to do something about this. Nigerians are calling for the reversal of, what do you call it? Reversal of subsidy.
Yes.
For me, I wouldn't want to say, no, let's reverse subsidy. No. There's a simple solution to this.
Which is?
Nigerians should call for the revitalization, renovation, and the, what do you call it, of the refineries. Dangote has built a refinery.
Okay.
We shouldn't just stay there. Why don't you build more refineries? Nigeria is the only OPEC country that doesn't have a refinery operating.
Dangote's refinery.
The only OPEC country that doesn't have a refinery working. And I can clearly tell you boldly today, it didn't happen from this tenure, from this president, this administration.
Okay.
It didn't happen from Buhari's tenure. It didn't happen from Jonathan's tenure. It's a long thing. And I can clearly and confidently tell you today that some people are behind it. There are people that are profiting from it. And they are powerful people. And they'll stop at nothing. They'll frustrate anybody to ensure that it doesn't work because they are making so much money from it. If I were the president, if there's one thing I would do to make Nigeria happy today, is ensure that we have 2 or 3 refineries working before the end of my tenure.
Are these people more powerful than the president? Why is he not doing something about these people? These powerful people that is standing against the group of Nigeria.
Well, now you're diving into politics. Politics is a very funny thing. Everybody who is serving would want a second term. And there are people, when you touch, they destabilize your ambitions.
Is the president is wanting a second tenure better than making sure that your tenure, even if it is one, serve its purpose?
Well, I don't know about the president. I was just telling you what I understand about politics.
You're a politician. Mm-hmm. If you were the president, which would matter to you? Which would you handle? These powerful people that are standing against the growth of the country you're presiding over, or the masses?
I will tell you what matters to me. What matters to me is a good legacy. It's a good legacy. I'm not interested in second term. Let me tell you, I advocate for 1 year single term, 6 years single term. That's what I want for Nigeria. Because these 4 years, double tenures is disrupting development for Nigeria. Because a president comes, first year you're trying to settle down, second, third year, it's what you have to work. By the third year, in fact, you're already planning for re-election. So you don't have time to concentrate on Nigeria. Why don't you practice single tenure, 6 years? Once a president comes, you roll out plans, and then let's do a development plan for Nigeria. Whoever president comes, work on these plans. You can add whatever you can add, but this is the direction. It's like saying Vision 2030, Vision 2050 for Nigeria, and whoever comes, this is what the kind of models that Singapore has used to become what it is today. This is the kind of model that Rwanda has used to become what it is today. And let me tell you the hardest thing about this kind of model, and that is why some leaders, once they come, it's not because they want to be powerful, but they want a model that works for their people. And they know that once they leave that office, whoever comes next will want to thwart that whatever project they put on and start a new one. That's why they want to retain power until they show Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew. He was there until he was sure that this thing was working, and then it was permanent. Then he withdrew from power. And even once he was withdrawing, do you know what he did? He became a minister. So imagine from president or prime minister to a minister. So he became a minister
in the
system to ensure that whoever is succeeding him works accordingly to this plan that we have set for the nation. You see how it works?
Yeah.
And then when he was satisfied that, okay, this plan has come to succeed, he pulled out of the system. They wanted to put his picture on the money, on their currency. He said he doesn't want. And even after he's dead, whoever puts his money, his picture on the currency, he won't forgive that person, or he has placed a curse on that person. That's a good legacy. That's a good legacy. Today, if you change the name of Singapore to Lee Kuan Yew, you're not doing anything wrong. He set a good precedent for them. This is what we're talking about. When you say 2 tenors, they don't concentrate on leading. They concentrate on fulfilling these 2 tenors. So let's do 1 year single term. Let me tell you the advantage also. 1 year single term to be rotating between the different regions. That will ensure that an Igbo man becomes president. It will ensure an Ijaw man becomes president. It will ensure a Southern Kaduna man becomes president. It will ensure a North Central man, Benue man becomes president. It will ensure Yoruba man. It will ensure, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Every region should hold 1 time, 6 years, then let it go to the next region, 1 time, 6 years.
I purposely didn't want to delve into this regional talk because if we delve into this regional talk, we're going to go back to 2023 elections. Do you want us to go into it?
Well, you choose what you want.
This regional issue, by every standard, the last election was supposed to go to the Southeast.
Is there a constitution that backs that?
If we are going by unofficial regional talks, it was supposed to go to the Southeast one. Secondly, by the systems put in place by the government for voting and everything, the viewers and all of that, we know who won the election. We know who was given to us.
I don't know about that.
They whose names should not be mentioned.
Okay.
But we know who won the election and we know who, because the present government now, what were the plans they rolled out? What did they tell us? What did they tell us they were going to do? They didn't basically tell us what they were going to do. They were just blabbing.
That's what they did.
Well, out of the things they told us, they said, I didn't hear any meaningful thing they said they were going to do. But okay, let's assume that they told us what they were going to do. What have they done so far?
Let me even tell you something. For one, removal of subsidy is one of the most important things that Nigeria needs.
If you remove subsidy, were there plans put in place? You don't just come.
Exactly what I was saying.
You don't just come and
Let me
okay,
shock
this
you.
chair is not good here. You're removing the chair. What is going to be here to suffice? You don't just come and
Let me tell
make
you,
things properly
it was
like that.
the action came before
Okay.
the removal. At the moment the president gave his speech and said subsidy is gone, he said it's gone.
Yes.
It was just a statement. But like I said, the saboteurs of Nigeria went ahead, rushed to take advantage of it.
Why were they not punished? Because what a president would have done is, since I have not given go ahead for this policy to be implemented, you have no right to do this. Why were they not sanctioned?
Well, for me, if I were the president at that moment, it's something that I didn't intend. That's my own understanding. It's my own opinion anyways.
Okay.
I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody.
Okay.
And then if they go ahead to do that, already it has started, it has rolled out. I wouldn't want to say, no, let's go back. I would want to say, okay, since it has started, it's what we're yearning for. Peter Obi said on the first day that he won't let it pass the first day. He said it.
Okay.
I have the speech. I have the
Okay.
the interview where he said, someone asked him a question. He said, yes, I will remove the subsidy and I will let it pass the first day. It's the same thing.
But
So look, the removal of subsidy at this moment
mhm.
is not what we should be talking about. Okay, it has been done. How do we make life better for the Nigerian man?
Good.
To make life better for the Nigerian man is opening up more refineries. It will create competition. Let me tell you, how many times has NNPC told us that refinery will start running in the next 3 months, in the next 1 year, in the next 6 months? Is it running? So when you say government should start taking actions, is it running? In a Western society, once you make this kind of promises and you don't meet up, you resign. So someone's supposed to go down for this.
Okay.
Someone is supposed to go down. Someone's supposed to be punished for this. You can't look at Nigerians. For example, it's just like saying we're launching Air Nigeria. Was it Air Nigeria or Nigeria Airways?
I think Nigerian Airways.
And then they leave, and then you find out that there is no Air Nigeria, and nothing is happening. Someone needs to be penalized.
People need to.
Someone needs to be
know that
punished.
There are consequences.
Look, exactly.
People
Exactly.
need to know that this is the reason why. These are one of the things the masses. That's why the masses is saying we need to know what you're doing. People are the officials.
So,
the government
coming out to
officials are
protest, coming out to protest. Why didn't you say we want so person in the refinery sector to go?
That all this now is embedded in good governance. Good governance entails these things you're talking about.
Look, let me tell you something. If this is what you expect from your president or your leader, and he's not coming forth with it,
Okay.
when you come out to protest, be very specific about what you want. Should I tell you that I've seen 3 different demands from different groups? So even if the president wants to attend to you, how does he start? Who is the group leading this protest? There's the Take It Back movement I've seen. There's the revolution now government, what do you call it, I've seen, whereby the leader is in the US, or he's saying, let's go and ask for revolution now. Why don't you come, lead these people, so that the president will have somebody to interface with? You can't leave just some people to just come and say, okay, go, lead a protest. And then these people don't even understand what the economy is talking about. It's easy to say, take subsidy back. But I can tell you confidently, at this moment, it's not even easy for the president to take it back. It's not going to work. Even if the president say, take the subsidy back to 167 naira, it's not going to work. You know why?
Why?
The marketers are already enjoying what is happening right now. They won't let you take it back. What it means is that we're not going to see fuel. This fuel hardship we're going through is going to be 3 times more than what we're experiencing. We'll see fuel in the next 3 months. So, like I said, it's simple. If it means giving subsidies, yes, they said somehow we're still paying subsidies. I don't want to know if that is true or not. I'm not in government. I can't understand that.
Okay.
But if that is not the case, then subsidies should be put back for a certain period of time. Maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months. And ensure by the end of that window, one of the refineries is up and running. And if the refinery is not up and running, someone should be sanctioned.
Talking about refineries, Dangote has been crying on social media. Crying, not in the literal sense of it, but he has been. I told someone that growing up, I don't think I ever saw that man grant an interview, but for the past 2 weeks, he has granted more interviews than I've seen him appear on in my entire life. So, and some people are of the opinion that they don't have any pity for Dangote because he used to benefit. They feel like he used to benefit from the other government, and the only reason why he's crying is because he's not benefiting from this government and all whatnot. What do you have to say about that?
The question I want to ask the people saying that they can't cry for Dangote, I've seen some interviews, they're saying, don't mind him. All government in power, Egypt. It's just because he's not favoring him now.
Yes,
he wants to start shouting. The question we need to ask ourselves as Nigerians, whatever Dangote is doing right now, the refinery, is it going to be beneficial to Nigeria or not? You say you want out of the current hardship. He has brought one of the solutions to get out of the current hardship. And you say, no, it's because he's not favoring him. Dangote, if he wants, I know, at a point he said he wants to sell the refinery. Because of the frustration he was facing. He said he wants to sell. So if these bad guys that are trying to sabotage Nigeria, the development of Nigeria, decide to buy this refinery, do you know what that means? Do you know what that means?
No.
It's going to mean more problems for us.
Okay.
So for him to say, I want to sell, as a businessman, if it's not going to work, he's trying to do it for the country, and the country don't understand. And I understand that with the citizens. When I was chairman, I was going into the bushes with security forces just to ensure that there is sanity when it comes to security. Just to ensure that I'm in control of the security situation. Just to ensure that we fight this banditry. But yet, some people will come out and still accuse you of one thing or the other. That's how the citizens see. That's how they think. They may not understand this, but I can tell you confidently today, whether you like it or not, Dangote refinery is a blessing to Nigeria. If not for that, who is going to be talking about crashing prices? Haven't you seen that diesel has crashed again? The price of diesel has crashed. Why is it crashing? Because of Dangote refinery. That's why it's crashing. It's okay if you're in business and then you want to have a monopoly. Nobody stops you. It's not an offense. But then it's up to government to ensure that there is no monopoly. But government cannot say, no, we can't give crude oil to Dangote because we don't want monopoly. It's wrong. If you don't want monopoly, what have you done to ensure that there is no monopoly in the market?
Okay.
That's why you create policies. I'm a policy analyst. You create policies. If this guy is becoming too strong as a capitalist and he wants to make all the money in Nigeria, it's fine. That's what business is all about. It's left for you as the government, the authority in charge, the people leading the country, to ensure that you create other policies that's going to challenge his monopolization of the economy.
Okay.
Create opportunities. There are people with money that would want to build refineries. And then if it's becoming difficult to revive these refineries, why don't you sell them up to the public? Sell them. And part of the sales agreement is to ensure that you sign a contract. They're going to supply so quota of crude oil to these refineries to operate. Because he's wanting to sell, and then tomorrow they don't give you crude. That means your refinery is nonsense. You're even lucky that Dangote, as a businessman, knows his ways and is trying to seek crude oil from other countries into Nigeria, refine them and sell. If Nigeria won't give him crude oil, fine. He's going to buy from outside. But do you know what that means? That means the fuel he'll be selling to us will be expensive.
Yes.
But he's trying to get it from Nigeria so that he refines it in Nigeria, sell to Nigerians. In fact, we don't need him to export oil. If he can only cater for the needs of the country, the citizens in Nigeria, for our cars, that is good enough. The price of everything is going to fall back. It's going to fall down. I can't assure you that it's going to fall to what it used to be, but it's going to be better.
Going to be a change.
Yes, it's going to be better. So if Nigeria will want to fix anything, Dangote should be given the opportunity. Give him crude oil. Don't give him small quota. In fact, after taking the loans, we collected loans, and they pay with this crude oil. Whatever remains should be pushed to Dangote. We don't have a problem. This is what I expect the protesters to be saying. And then besides that, government should also give opportunity to other people to refine oil and then sell within the country. When we're able to meet the quota required for our daily consumption in the country, then they can export outside. Wow. That will solve our problems. It's not big mathematics, it's not big things, but it's just because some people don't want Nigeria to work. These are the people we need to identify and start calling out these people on social media.
Exactly.
Let's start exposing them. Let's start saying this person is an enemy of Nigeria. He should be tried for treason. Because sabotaging the economy of Nigeria is also a treasonable offense. This is what we should be calling for. So government should create policies and give other people room to build refineries, modular refineries. We even have them. Provide crude oil for them. Let them refine it. And then let's sell to people. So Dangote should be given his quota. I think Dangote is not doing anything wrong.
Wow.
If not for anything, if Dangote has been bad to Nigeria, this is the time that he's right with Nigerians. This is the time that Nigeria should embrace him. He's speaking because he wants the best.
So, sir, given what you said about the protesters, what do you think the protesters should do? What's the next? How do they strategize? How do we strategize? Because the hunger who me said. So how do we strategize? What do you think we should do as the masses so that the government? What do you think we should tell the government so that the government will do for us?
Well, my advice is the protesters should embrace dialogue. Okay. Let them come together, embrace dialogue, and while they are at that, let them still table their request to the president. See the president, and let me also say, the president should not appoint someone to speak to them. Let him create time to sit with them. But while they are at that, what Nigerians should do now is start mobilizing for 2027. Start mobilizing for 2027. And when we say 2027, we're not saying move this government out, because this government has time. And then once you start mobilizing, they will do what you need before 2027. Okay. Because they want 2027. So we will work and ensure we get your support for 2027. And that is by implementing some of the things you requested. But what Nigerians need to do is start mobilizing for 2027. 3 years is not a long time. Start mobilizing. And then when you mobilize 2027, it's not enough to say, this is the person we want, this is the person we want to go for. No. The person may give you lots of promises, and then once he's in that office, he's not living to the obligation. He's not giving you those things he promised. So what I think the protesters should request for are basically to sign a social contract with whoever they want to support in 2027. And even President Tinubu is not out of the question. If he recontests, then also get him to agree on a social contract with the people of Nigeria. Now I'm talking about the people of Nigeria, not about myself, not about my tribe, not about my region, but the people of Nigeria. And what do you need in this social contract? For me, my own personal opinion, basically 3 things Nigeria needs to function. Number 1, top of the list is security. From what I've seen, from experiences I've had, from kind of strategies I have in my head, if given the opportunity, I would end this insecurity. It's doable. And I'm not saying people are not doing their best. In fact, it was worse before the CDS came, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa. He has tried his best, because we've seen it in my place is one of the most affected areas. He has done his best, he's still doing his best. But then we need security. Because if security is being mitigated to the minimum, people will be able to go to farm. And once they go to farm, we'll be crying about hunger. There'll be surplus. Why we're facing this food crisis is because people cannot go to farm. Solve security, you solve farming. And then some people, you suffer your entire life to build up an asset, and then they kidnap one of your family members, and then have you go and sell this thing you built in 20 years, 30 years, and then nobody's doing, you go and give this money, and then one soul comes back. But then you're going back to poverty. So Security first.
Yeah.
Secondly,
Mm.
the refinery. NNPC, something must be done about NNPC. It's not working.
Mm.
Nothing they are doing is working for Nigerians. That should be a priority for government. They should sign a social contract. Whoever president they want to support in 2027 must ensure before the end of his tenure or before 3 years into his tenure, the three refineries must be working, or else they call for a protest. They should give him a timeline.
Okay.
Even now, it's not late. If they organize themselves into a particular group, see the president, they can give the president a timeline and say, in 1 year, in 6 months, we want at least 1 or 2 refineries to work, or else 2027 count us out. So refinery, oil. We need more refineries to refine our oil within Nigeria and sell within Nigeria. Then, thirdly, for me, if people complain about the size of governance, the money spent on governance, this is going to be very, very, what do you call it? Like you said, controversial. But Nigeria needs to operate a unicameral legislature. Tell me what the Senate is doing that's different from what House of Reps is doing.
Good.
Tell me
That's a
what is
very good
different.
point.
So if they must go to that table with the president, let's negotiate for that. The country must go back to a unicameral legislature. Whatever Senate is doing, House of Reps can do. Let's operate that. And we're not saying that because we don't want to, but because it's becoming very expensive.
Yes. Very
I read a
important.
documentary that was saying some of Nigerians politicians are the highest paid in the world.
Yes, I saw that too.
So imagine 109 senators. Imagine their salary is cut. I know they are not going to be happy about it, but I'm sorry.
It has to go. They are working
But
for the.
if
they are
there is
serving.
a senator that really wants to work for Nigeria, then he should come back to House of Reps and contest so that he can serve Nigeria. Yes, let's struggle for House of. And why I want House of Reps to exist instead of Senate when we go to unicameral is because House of Representatives has direct touch with the people. For each House of Representative member, is either he's leading a local government, 2 local government, 3, at most 4. I haven't heard of 4, but I know 3 local governments. They have 1 representative. And then this man relates directly with the people. So you can see how it's easier. And if we must, we can say 1 member per local government. That's just 774. It's still not much for me. So let's operate a unicameral legislature so that we cut down the size of governance.
Okay.
And then, like the immunity, things we see in the Senate, it's not so pleasant. I know they are doing their best. They're trying to do their best. But I think it's just for cutting down, cost of governance.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed this session. I am not a politician, but I mean, in Nigerian, I am not up there yet, but I feel the hardship. I know what is happening. It's not easy. There's hunger in the land. It's not easy. And
I'll be lying. I'll be lying if I tell you that the hunger is not hitting me too. I'll be lying.
There
It's
is
hitting me.
hunger in the
But because
land.
I understand
People are
policies,
going through a
I think there
lot.
are some policies that are good for us.
But you've made it.
Some are not very good for us. But there are things we can do.
Mm,
There are things we can do.
nice. So you've heard it, microphone. The Honorable has told us and has told the government what to do. The government should start holding people accountable. Accountability is needed for every good leadership. Accountability is very necessary. So do well to follow us on our social media to watch this video. Follow us on YouTube at Issues and Society Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at 71 Media Limited. Follow us on Instagram at 71 Media Limited and on X at 71 Media Limited. Thank you for staying with us. See you same time next week. Bye.